Council in session. Please stand for the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Brenda Link.
Right, start now. Right, have we have any apologies for absence?
If I may, Madam Deputy Mayor, I'd like to present the apologies of Councillor Mottershead, Councillor William Allen and Councillor Paul Reynolds.
Thank you. Councillor Williams?
Thank you. Apologies on behalf of Councillor Elliott, Riddick, Timms and White Low.
Right. Councillor Pesh?
Councillor Angela Mitchell.
Right. Are there any declarations? Are there any declarations of interest? No? Right, public participation. There is none. So we go on to cabinet referrals, which I'll pass over to Councillor Tyndall.
Thank you very much. CA/89/23 that Cabinet recommends to Council that the revised strategy for growth, Appendix 1, be published for consultation under Regulation 18 of the Town and Country Planning, Local Planning England Regulations 2012 as amended, and that Cabinet recommends that Council delegates authority to make changes to the revised strategy for growth, including any necessary to reflect the Cabinet and/or Council decision to the Strategic Director place in consultation with the policy holder for place. I would like to point out to Council that the strategic financial importance to decorum, the delivery and implementation of a long-term local plan cannot be underestimated. The plan enables and supports wider growth in infrastructure, the local economy and businesses. I recommend.
Is that seconded?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I second and reserve my right to speak.
Thank you. Anybody else? Would anybody like to speak? Yes? Councillor Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I think it's the correct term. I genuinely welcome that the administration is using the evidence obtained by the previous administration to remove greenbelt sites such as Rectory Farm in my own ward. And I'm not speaking against proceeding to consultation. I want to make that clear up front. However, there are quite a few issues that I think need to be heard. There's a sort of caveat with that. First off, I personally, notwithstanding the deadline to get the process completed by 2025, I don't believe one should plan whilst the Marshcroft decision is outstanding because of the sheer amount of housing involved. Secondly, there are two issues with the new local plan proposed at Berkhamsted, because I don't believe you can propose only one part of the land to the south of the town without losing to infill the rest of the land parcel to Durrance Lane, especially with the pressure on the amount of land needed for Sang that close to Ashridge. And I also don't think it's practical to extend the existing secondary school. But the biggest problem overall, though, is that one cannot simply move nearly all the development to Hemel Hempstead without causing a lot of problems. Achieving the amounts of development being proposed raises the spectre of cramming, which Labour colleagues in the 1990s got very angry about, and one wouldn't expect to see that all these years later. A member of the administration at the Scrutiny Committee also raised the issue about the open spaces in the town, and I have to say that I too would fear for the open spaces rated as the residents' highest priority in the Hemel Place survey. The other thing one wouldn't have expected, after all the campaigning about the development on the edge of Boxmoor, would be a significant increase, if not doubling, of the amount of development in Two Waters and Apsley. Loading another 1,000 homes over 2 years on the start of the Hemp Gardens Communities project would clearly, well, that's overstating it, it's unlikely to be deliverable, because the highest priority at the start of a project of this size would be putting in the infrastructure, and one would have to wonder about being able to build 500 houses per year anyway. Nor is it deliverable to point airily to the town centre's car parks, particularly at the Water Gardens, as the future location for the new schools needed, without any indication of feasibility or appropriateness. All the more because I don't share the determination to get rid of the town centre car parks due to the amount of people in the borough who don't and can't have access to public transport. If you can just bear with me whilst I kill the technology. I listened very keenly to the debate at the Scrutiny Committee about the scope for windfall development, and I understand the arguments that were made, but I've been through several urban capacity studies and strategic housing land availability assessments over the years, where the scope for windfall development was very limited because we're running out of places from where the windfalls could come, and because windfall development is heavily scrutinised by local planning inspectors. Local policies for determining planning applications have been excluded from this consultation, as has the infrastructure development plan, which was excluded from the previous version, as one didn't need it to show what the full housing requirement would do to the borough or to obtain the objections that we achieved. But one does need an infrastructure delivery plan, if I can correctly pronounce it, if you're proposing a plan you intend to see through. I'm also disappointed the council is abandoning pioneering new methods of local plan preparation into a rush to do things the old way, when it is not definite the government will get rid of the local policies and has reversed previous proposals to do so. But my biggest concern is that if one is going under the required target set by the government, as I think members on our side of the chamber had in mind as well, it increases the need to show that the plan is deliverable and how the development will be supported. And I'm afraid, I'm reluctant, I'm not convinced this plan does either. And of course, the longer the council goes without an updated local plan, the more our housing supply will dwindle and the more we risk developers being allowed to build what they like, where they like, which is something our residents would definitely not want either. So in summary, Madam Deputy Mayor, I support going to consultation, but I'm kind of eager to see how Hemel Hempstead will react to it, and I think there are issues which I flagged up tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pringle.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Firstly, I would like to thank my colleagues, Councillor Anderson, for his indication that he will be voting with us this evening. I will be voting in favour of this proposal and commend it to my colleagues across the chamber. This is an opportunity to demonstrate to our residents why we come here. We give up our time and our energy to voice the concerns of our residents, and we listen to residents right across the borough who responded in 2019 and 2020 to the previous consultation. And I think whatever details we may disagree with, we are a listening administration who wish to work in the interests of our residents, and where there are legitimate concerns, we will listen. But it is essential, for reasons already outlined, that we go to consultation now. And I would like to say I'm proud in particular of two things. One is my colleagues who have worked tirelessly on coming up with this new local plan over the summer while others were on holiday, and also the officers of this administration who really worked so hard on this, and we were really very lucky to have them. and also the residents who responded and showed interest. I know in North Church, people of all ages and backgrounds responded in many different ways, and I was proud to have a handwritten letter of a gentleman aged 101 years old, who I hope is still here to hear that the new local plan has been written, because he was so concerned about the countryside that he grew up amongst being preserved for generations in the future. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. We have delivered what our residents told us. The residents of North Church spoke up to say that they wanted to save the Greenbelt land and to build houses that met the need of local people, so that our families who already live in the area can afford to live here, that there will be plans for investment and growth so that they can develop careers close to their parents, and that building will be in brownfield sites and urban areas supporting our green policies. I think this is a really incredibly written plan. It has been ambitious, and I hope it sets a mark for our administration and also for the way we will do business across this chamber in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor England?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Councillor Wilkie and the local plan team have worked really intensively to give time to reading every comment from the last Regulation 18, considering every site and trying to present the next step, Regulation 18, which is reasoned and purposeful, ready to be shown to the public for their further involvement. As members from all parties, and none will know, we cannot delay this work without disadvantaging decorum and inviting development by appeal. As members will also know, it's necessary to consider not just the numbers of homes and jobs planned, but to build the purpose of the numbers and the way they fit what decorum people, present and future, will need. Our goal must be to construct and improve well-being through the right homes, infrastructure and jobs in the right places, enabling happier lives and healthy streets. I'm keen that this plan will develop the limited ambitions that recent years have shown for social housing, affordable housing and energy efficient housing, which will be lived in by many successive people. I'm pleased that despite the timescale to get this plan submitted, we're going to have a consultation which avoids the Christmas period. I'm inspired that this plan imagines the renewal and remaking of the energetic Hemel Hempstead, often recalled, when the combination of new families previously mixed with the sons and daughters and grandchildren of many generations of locals. As almost nothing was raised in objection at scrutiny so far, it must be inferred that the rest is politics, and we are agreed that it is time again for residents associations, interest groups and businesses to have their say.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Councillor Wilkie.
Councillor Pett. Yes, Councillor Pett.
Yes, probably following on what's already been said, but we will be supporting the plan as it is going out to consultation, and thank everybody for the work they've done. But what I would really like to do is to make sure that our thanks are recorded and extended to the Borough Council's officers and their teams for all the hard work that they've put into this and how they're ensuring that they can get the best for the borough overall. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Wilkie, would you like to sum up?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I apologise if I misrepresented you earlier.
Oh, sorry, someone else. Sorry, I didn't.
Problem?
It's not coming up. Didn't come up. Right, Councillor Douris.
Sorry, my apologies for that. I think a lot has been said about what we're discussing tonight. What we are, in fact, voting on is the Regulation 18 consultation. That is the first step in this. In fact, it's not the first step. It's a subsequent step to the first Regulation 18 consultation that took place a couple of years ago under the previous administration, which Councillor Anderson referred to very briefly.
And at that time, there was a lot of talk, a lot of comment made about that Regulation 18 consultation. But if you look, apart from one particular area, there's been very little change to the numbers, the homes numbers that are contained in this proposal going forward on this Reg 18 consultation. And that's fine, and I don't think we disagree with that, frankly. But I do think it is worth just making sure that history notes that the first Regulation 18, which was part of the process, we were pretty certain when that started what the answer would be, but we had to go through the process. And having gone through the process, it gave us the opportunity, if we needed to do so, to go to central government and say, your requirement for 1,023 or whatever the particular number was that they were recommending is not sustainable in this borough, and we are not going to subscribe to it. And that then took us to the election. We accept that. It then came to this new Reg 18 consultation, which builds, if you like, upon the work that we had done, and the officers and colleagues, if I may use that term, members across the floor in the administration now have been able to profit by the work that was originally done, and we can move forward with this new Reg 18. We'll see what the public respond to it and how they respond, and we will take it forward. Having said that, you never know, we might find that our external national government would make some changes to the local undertakings and the housing rules, and we may find that the rules of the game may change slightly in terms of numbers. But we'll see where we go. But in the meantime, I think probably we will support the consultation that is being proposed here tonight.
Thank you. Councillor Wilkie.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Nelson Mandela said that if you wanted the cooperation of those around you, you must let them know they are important. And you do that by being genuine and humble. Whilst humility may not be a word our residents readily associate with politicians, this consultation unequivocally demonstrates how important they are to us, that they are the priority, that we have listened humbly to their feedback and genuinely taken it on board. This evening, we are voting to go to a public consultation with a revised local SAP plan, which sets out a new and improved vision and strategy for decorum until 2040. Why do I say it's improved? Well, not only is it based on evidence collected by officers, but it now reflects sincerely the desires and aspirations for our borough as told to us by our residents. We know we need more homes, but we must deliver this while protecting our precious areas of natural beauty and conservation areas, investing in our town centres, providing the right infrastructure, and ensuring these new homes are sustainable and able to withstand ever-increasing climate change events. This plan, this new plan, will deliver the right homes in the right places for the right price. We are proposing to build fewer homes, significantly so, because we were instructed to do so by our residents in the consultation, and because it's the right thing to do for our residents, who expect us not to do what we're told to do by Whitehall, but to show courage and leadership. We are protecting 90% of our greenbelt land. We have reduced the amount of green space to develop while increasing the number of brownfield sites. Why? Because it is our duty to protect our green spaces and keep Decorum's unique identity, invest in our town centres, and deliver our vision for the Hemel Hempstead town. We have looked at the infrastructure needs where we propose to build new homes and how this can be tied into developers' plans. We all know we are legally obliged to provide a draft local plan, but there are other important benefits of having a local plan. It prevents predatory developer-led planning implications for sites we don't want to see developed, such as Marshcroft. It gives certainty to developers and employees, which makes our borough a more attractive prospect for investment. It allows us to deliver a much needed social housing and real affordable housing. It allows us to negotiate the inclusion of infrastructure where we need it, and this will be considered in depth in the Task and Finish group, where we welcome members from across this chamber. And finally, it allows utilities to see where growth and expansion will happen and plan their networks accordingly. So many of our residents have told us that their children cannot afford to stay and live here. That is beyond sad. This draft local plan will allow future generations to bring up their families in our borough. It is said that, by much wiser people than me, I might add, that the difference between a visionary and a dreamer is that a dreamer has their eyes closed, while a visionary keeps theirs wide open. By voting to take this local plan to public consultation, we are showing that not only are we visionary, but that the future of decorum, and most importantly, its residents, are our priority. I commend this referral from Cabinet and ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Tyndall?
Thank you, Roach. I don't think I need to say much. In summing up, I've noted the 12 points made by Councillor Anderson, and I will suggest that they are added to the list that the Task and Finish group actually consider. On the question of the work done on the plan already, I would acknowledge that this local plan draft is the product of a considerable number of years' effort, and that needs to be recognised. But I also recognise that both of the opposition parties are likely to support the consultation process tonight, and I welcome that, because it does mean that this council will be going forward into the consultation of the local plan together. We may have arguments in the future, but at the very least we can actually demonstrate that we intend to beat the deadline of the 30th of June 2025, because that is the time, that is the date on which this plan must be adopted, having gone through all its stages. Otherwise, we are going to be returned back to the go, and we are unlikely then to have a local plan until 2028, which could actually then mean that we get flooded with developers. So it is important that we do keep to this timetable, that we continue on their way. We may not agree on everything, but I'm grateful for the apparent fact that we are also agreeing on the consultation tonight, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Could I refer to Layla how we vote, please?
Madam Deputy Mayor, as I suspect this is going to be a unanimous vote, do we really need to have it electronically?
Could we agree to a show of hands, please? Yes? Right, that's 4. 4? Vote for. Raise your hand.
Yes, it's unanimous.
I think that's unanimous, yes. Thank you. That will be the end of the meeting tonight, and thank you everybody for attending, and well done on the vote. Thank you.